Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance. On my other channel, on this channel, I talk about other things. Like today, when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film on Netflix. I almost said in cinemas. It's been a while since I've seen a Nollywood film in cinemas. Come to think of it, it's because of election season. Anyway, the new Nollywood film on Netflix, Strangers. Strangers is a drama based on real events. When Ade becomes afflicted with an infection on his leg in a remote village in Nigeria, his family does all they can to help him. Nothing is forthcoming, however, until a few strangers come to their village and change the direction of Ade's life forever. Strangers is directed by Biodun Stephen. Now, I've been looking forward to seeing this film. It actually came out in cinemas in 2022, but I didn't see it because it showed only in Genesis Cinemas here in Lagos because of the deal that I think they struck with the cinema. So it didn't show in film house cinemas where I typically see my movies. So I was happy to hear that was coming to a streaming platform. Now, I was also looking forward to this film because it's directed by one of my favorite Nollywood directors, Biodun Stephen. You guys know her for awesome films like Breaded Life, The Progressive Tailors Club, and A Simple Lie. That said, let's dive into it and talk about the performances in this film, Strangers. Adedimeji Lateef. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised that for like the first half of this film, we didn't see Adedimeji Lateef. Until much later on in the movie, when he came in to play the older version of Ade, that came as a bit of a shock. I kept on expecting him to, for the movie to move forward in time and for us to see the older version of Ade. It didn't happen till like the second half of the movie. But I liked his performance. I liked how he brought a bit of... Adedimeji Lateef is a fantastic actor on a good day. And he always tries to bring something different to his roles. And with this particular role, I like how the injury that Ade sustained as a kid, it still affected the way he walked as an adult. And I liked how Adedimeji Lateef incorporated that in his performance. I liked how he played this, bashful young man who is just very confused, but also wants to do significant things with his life, but he's torn between where he grew up and the future that he wants for himself. Adedimeji Lateef did a very good job interpreting that performance and that character. Next, I want to talk about Bimbo Oshin, who is a very big deal in Nollywood. Apparently, she has upwards of 2 million followers on Instagram. I haven't personally seen that many of her movies, perhaps because she's I assume, to be honest, that she's a Yoruba actress, and I don't see Yoruba films typically. But in this film, she did really well. I think her performance was one of my favorites in this film. She plays this very caring mom who is a bit strict, but she cares for her children, and she goes to some significant lengths to see that her son is cured of this ailment that he has. I really felt the character's pain, and I think she played that character very well. Next, I want to talk about Bolaji Ogunmola. This was the first time I was seeing Bolaji Ogunmola play a village woman or a village girl. Typically, Bolaji Ogunmola plays sophisticated contemporary women in the films that I've seen her in. So this was very different from me, seeing her play a village woman in this movie as the older version of Ade's older sister, Damilola. And her dynamic with Adedimeji Lateef, it felt quite believable, as two of them playing brother and sister. It felt very believable, and I enjoyed her performance. I wish her character had a bit more of a story in the film, but from the little that we saw, it wasn't bad. Debby Felix. Debby Felix played Busayo, the girl who meets Ade when they're younger in school, and then they meet later on in life when they're in university studying to become doctors or whatever, right? And Debby Felix, she's a good actress. Let me put that out there. I saw her for the first time in Love Like This, which is an Ndani TV series. I really enjoyed her performance in that series. In fact, everybody's performance in that series, I really loved it. But in this one, I think the challenge was the character Busayo didn't have a lot to do. So the character felt a bit bland to me. So I wasn't really wowed by Debby's performance. But the point I'm trying to make is that it was no fault of Debby's. It was the fact that the character didn't really have much to do in the film, if that makes sense. But she's an attractive woman, and initially, while I was watching it, I was like, I think Dimeji Lateef and Debby Felix, does that seem like a real match? Was there chemistry there? And to be honest, the chemistry between both characters, the attraction, I don't know if I was really feeling it, but it could have been intentional, that it wasn't organic, or it just wasn't, steamy, because these are two different characters two characters from two different worlds. So perhaps they actually did want us to feel like these two people on a normal day, on a good day, you wouldn't find them together because he's a village boy, she's like a city girl, but they fall for each other. So it doesn't feel too natural, but they're getting there, right? So I kind of let it slide. Who else do I want to talk about in this film? Chris Iheuwa. He played Dr. Olatunde, this benevolent doctor who takes Ade in, as part of his family and, raises him and everything, virtually becomes his adopted father. And Chris Iheuwa really did a good job. His performance was one of my favorites. He, speaking French with his co-star, the woman who played his wife, I do believe, her name is Ndamo Damarise. She's not Nigerian, I think she's Senegalese. They did a good job, playing, opposite each other as a couple, raising their child and, their adopted son Ade, and I think the other guy that they adopted later on in the film. But coming back to Chris Iheuwa, him speaking French was a nice touch. I appreciated that. And him, playing this very generous, caring doctor who takes this young man in, I really felt it. It felt very natural. Kudos to him. I enjoyed his performance as well. Chris Iheuwa is a very good supporting actor. He's been in so many films. I don't know if you guys notice his face when you see him in movies. Most recently, I saw him in A Sunday Affair. He was that sugar daddy that was terrorizing Beyetim's character in A Sunday Affair. He's a really good actor, and I really look forward to seeing him in a leading role in a film or in a drama. That'd be interesting to see. But he's a great actor nonetheless. Finally, I want to talk about the two young actors who played the younger versions of Ade, and they are Daniel Bogunmbe, who played the youngest version of Ade. He was really good. Kudos to him. The film did focus on him quite a bit when you do think about it. I think of the three versions of Ade, maybe he had the second most screen time after Adedimeji Lateef's character. So after Adedimeji Lateef's version of the character. So kudos to Daniel, and then kudos especially to Mide Glover, who played the teenage version of Ade. He was coming into his own. That's when the conflict really started setting in the character's life, and I think Mide did a really good job. I've actually met Mide before. First of all, when I saw him, in the film, I was like, this guy looks familiar. I think he's friends with another friend of mine, Jay on Air, who many of you guys know from Instagram. And I think I met Mide through Jay on Air at the premiere of Obaram last year. Yeah, I remember we had a conversation because I was watching this one, like, this guy looks familiar, and I connected him with Jay on Air, but I was like, aside from that, I know him from somewhere else. So yeah, I think we met at the premiere of Obaram last year. Mide is a great guy. He did a good performance, or he gave a great performance in this film. It was a bit dramatic at certain points, but I guess it comes with, being a teenager. Sometimes teenagers can be over the top sometimes. And I look forward to seeing Mide in other movies or series in the very near future. I hope this movie opens up lots of doors to him. What I liked that this film touched on like humanity and the goodness of people's hearts, and showing kindness to strangers and whatnot. Hey, strangers, get it? Because I was thinking, right, while watching this film, so strangers, why that title and where is it in this film? But towards the end of the film, I realized that, hey, the people that reached out to this boy and, pretty much gave him a brand new life were complete strangers who just, took him under their wing, took him into their home, paid for his education, paid for his medical bills and whatnot. He just got favor from so many places, and he was able to make something of himself. So the message was very heartwarming, and I think we need to see more films with that kind of message, in Nollywood, in Nigeria these days, especially with the way things are in the country right now. Things are quite tense, especially, after the elections. So that's what I liked about this movie. What I didn't like, it may surprise you to know that there are a few things that I did not like about this film, and it always pains me to talk about what I didn't like in a Biodun Stephen film because I love her films so much. I didn't like the fact that this film was very to the point. It was very direct, and I didn't expect that. I felt, or I assumed, that this film would be layered, to have multiple layers, but it was just about this young boy who gets this infection on his leg, goes through a tough time for a while, goes to the city, gets treatment, gets adopted by some benevolent people, and grows up and pursues an education to become a doctor, and he becomes a doctor and he marries, and yeah, that's it. So I was expecting a bit more. So the film was very direct, it was very to the point, and to be honest, that does work, sometimes or many times actually in Nollywood. But I mean, with the cast that they had and the fact that they filmed like outside of Lagos in the rural area, and I think I was expecting a bit more. It was a good film, but perhaps a little bit more would have been nice. Perhaps with his sister Damilola, maybe they even did try to do something with that, because if you remember, there was a point in the film where some guy was trying to talk to her, trying to romance her, but it ended there. Even when young Ade had the dream of his father visiting him, and his mom goes to see his granddad and tells him that Ade is having those dreams again. I thought they were going to do something with that, with the late father and all that, but that didn't go anywhere. So yeah, I was expecting a bit more. In conclusion, Strangers was a nice one. Not necessarily one of my favorite Biodun Stephen films, if I'm being honest, but it was just okay in my opinion. What did you guys think about the movie Strangers? Let me know in the comment section down below, and don't let my opinion, alter yours. Please be genuine with how you felt about this film, because I know a few people who actually really enjoyed the movie. So if that's how you felt about it, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, this weekend, another film came out on Prime Video. Strangers came out on Netflix, but on Prime Video, The Trade, which was directed by Jide Kosoko, also came out. I've reviewed that. I saw it in cinemas 2 months ago, back in January. To check that out, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. Now guys, please, if you enjoyed this review, please like the video by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. I'm not just saying that to say it, I actually do mean it, and it does make a huge difference when you guys engage with the video that way, by clicking on the like button and by subscribing to the channel, for those of you who aren't subscribed. And you'd be surprised, there are many of you who watch my reviews but aren't subscribed, so please subscribe and like. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews, I also talk about relationships. To check out some of my relationship videos or my past Nollywood reviews, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. Now, just to let you guys know what's going on in my life, it's been a tough weekend. The governorship elections and I think the National Assembly elections happened yesterday. They happened this weekend. Today is Sunday. They happened yesterday. And I was meant to do this review yesterday, but because I had to vote, I had to push it to today, Sunday. And yesterday was hectic. The whole dynamic of tribalism in the country and people being disenfranchised and being discouraged to vote and intimidated. It was a lot, and it hit me harder than I thought. I didn't experience anything personally, but from the things I saw on social media, I got to a point where I had to take a break from social media, and I'm still on that break right now. I think I won't get back on social media until tomorrow, Monday. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I say all this to let you guys know that it was a bit of a struggle to do this review, and it's been a tough weekend. And the country and Nigeria and our future, there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of the work falls at the feet of leadership and government, especially in terms of conditioning the minds or aligning the minds of Nigerians and citizens to be better, to do better, and to unite the country rather than divide the country. Yeah, so I just hope that we all, citizens and government, work towards a better, more unified Nigeria. It's very important, because the things we saw this weekend and during this election season, it hasn't been pretty, and we cannot continue to be silent about it, because if we are, things will continue to build up and bubble right underneath our noses until it gets to a breaking point where things could get really hairy and messy for everyone. So yes, hopefully, fingers crossed, and with all hands on deck, there will be brighter days ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below about the elections or about this film, Strangers, or anything you want to let me know down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next review. Take care.